Welcome to Partner Reading, Making It Effective. My name is Laura Bross. I am a member of the Curriculum Assistance Team at ONlit and Grade 2-3 teacher in the Avon Maitland District School Board. Today, we will be discussing partner reading. We will go over the purpose of partner reading and why it can be an effective daily practice in our classrooms. Then we will go over some examples and non-examples of partner reading to further clarify that purpose. Next, I'll outline important features of partner reading and different types that can be used for instruction and practice opportunities. Finally, we will discuss some perfect world goals, but real classroom realities of partner reading, so you can make effective decisions about how you will implement this in your classroom. So first, let's begin with our purpose. Oral reading fluency is a powerful and accurate indicator of future reading comprehension. In order for students to improve their oral reading fluency, they need instruction and then they need many opportunities to practice. Partner reading gives educators an instructional routine to provide feedback and the multiple practice opportunities that students need to ensure that they have continued growth in this essential skill. Students need feedback. With a classroom full of students and one teacher, partner reading, when done effectively, allows students to give each other the feedback they need to improve their reading fluency. We can create a community of learners working together to meet their individual goals. The instructional hierarchy is a model of skill acquisition. The hierarchy has been researched for decades. When we learn something new, we move through a series of predictable stages. It is important for educators to be aware of the instructional hierarchy, since we are more effective when our instruction matches the student's current level of proficiency. Partner reading is a strategy used during the fluency stage. The student has accuracy with the content, but they need multiple and varied practice opportunities to build that fluency. Through partner reading, students can access these practice opportunities and move their skills towards the generalization stage when reading authentic and new texts. According to the information processing model, our senses filter out much of the information around us. Some of this information goes into working memory. With effort, the learner can move the information from working memory to long-term memory for future retrieval. This change in long-term memory is learning. In this process, working memory is the bottleneck. It can limit the path of information into long-term memory. Too much load on working memory can prevent information from being stored, causing cognitive overload. Educators can make instructional decisions to reduce or optimize this load, improving student learning. For partner reading to be effective, we need to create an environment that does not overload working memory of our students, so they can focus on the intended purpose, oral reading fluency. To do this, we need to use instructional routines, clear expectations, have a quiet and calm environment, have daily but short duration of practice, and then texts that target the student's fluency stage and not a text that a student might still be in the acquisition stage of the instructional hierarchy with. So now let's move forward with some examples and non-examples of partner reading. This practice has been used in many ways, but there are specific features of effective partner reading that do maximize this practice and learning in the classroom. Partner reading may be done just for the sake of doing it, as an activity to fill time or for busy work with the students. Sometimes it is based on arbitrary text levels of the students, where they are only reading together because they were grouped for the sake of creating a group. However, to be more effective, partner reading should be carefully designed to practice critical literacy skills. Educators select texts for students to read based on the skill progression within the instructional hierarchy. Educators can create additional practice opportunities for students when they purposefully select texts that match their fluency instructional needs. Partner reading is used as an intentional tool for instruction and practice. Sometimes Partner reading is set up with little or no structure or schedule. It's not done daily, so students have difficulties completing it efficiently because they may not be sure what is expected of them. Peers are not taught how to help each other and give feedback. The teacher is the only one giving feedback. And since students are out of practice, that teacher feedback is usually about behavior and trying to support individual groups. Instead, effective partner reading is built on a daily instructional routine with clear and predictable expectations. Students know why they are doing this task and how to do it. Students were given explicit instruction and practice on how to give feedback and be a good partner. Partner reading takes purpose and lots of practice to make it effective. Partner reading may be done for long periods of time, where students get restless and exhausted by the task. Students might be silent or not engaged when their partner is reading. The teacher may be wandering the room, observing the students, but not engaging with them and providing important feedback. Instead, effective partner reading is daily and in short durations. It is difficult work, and when done with a quick routine, all students can find success. Partners are given accountability by each partner having assigned and practice expectations while the other is reading. Students are practicing out loud, and most importantly, the teacher is using this time to provide targeted instruction. Partner reading can be designed in a way where the educator is going to intentionally give feedback to specific pairs or students on a targeted skill. Partner reading can be used as an intentional opportunity to do small group instruction. Now, let's get into the details about partner reading. First, for partner reading to be effective, we need to ensure peer feedback is effective. We need to explicitly teach students how to give feedback and support each other. Then we need to practice with the students, giving them modeled examples of effective feedback. We need to practice this repeatedly throughout the year, modeling to students how to give feedback and celebrating when students do it successfully. These links by Lindsay Kemeny are helpful resources for explicitly teaching your students how to give feedback effectively. The partner correction video can be used with your students to teach them how to give effective feedback before you practice this skill with them directly. Modeling is an important step before partner reading. Timothy Shanahan discussed calling it a demonstration. Think aloud with the students before and after the model about how the text was read. It's not just a model. It's a time to give targeted instruction based on your fluency goals for the class. Most important, modeling sets the entire class up for success. For students who find oral reading difficult, providing the model first gives them the opportunity to hear it accurately and a chance to practice with you before they go work with a partner. Modeling is another practice opportunity for students, and it builds trust in your classroom by making learning accessible for everyone. A helpful fluency strategy can be the scooping strategy. This strategy is to help students who are reading accurately but slowly when they attempt longer sentences or texts. The scoops make the different phrases visible for the student and allow them to chunk longer sentences into smaller pieces. Then students can bring the scoops together and practice reading with prosody. The scooping strategy can also be a useful scaffold when teaching difficult syntax. To support comprehension, we can ask intentional questions about the different parts of meaning of each scoop. We can create repeated reading opportunities by using the scoops as a scaffold to explicitly teach phrasing, prosody, and syntax. A helpful tip I do in my classroom is that I will scoop any difficult sentence in a text before I photocopy it for the students. It's a simple and inclusive scaffold that makes a difficult text a little more accessible for all of our students. The gradual release model shows us how we can plan our partner reading from modeling to more independent partner practice. In this chart, I outline the different types of partner reading I use and when. You'll notice each day begins with instruction. Instruction gives you another chance to model and bring purpose to the students about why and what they'll be practicing today. The instruction also matches the partner task. So students usually have an opportunity to practice the learning behavior with the educator as a whole group before they go off and do it again with a partner. In the beginning, I start with Turtle Cheetah. This slows down the model and the partner reading for students who need more time to process. Next, we shift towards echo reading. The practice speeds up slightly, but students still get a direct model from the teacher or peer before it's their turn to practice. Me or we is my favorite and can really be used throughout the week. Students get choice in whether they read on their own or if they read it out loud together, giving students the option to read together for students who are not yet confident to do it on their own. Finally, we finish with timed reading. By this time, students have had lots of practice opportunities and lots of teacher and peer feedback, so they are ready to apply it into a timed practice situation. This is a simple chart I created about our partner reading choices. I will actually copy and paste these graphics into my daily slideshow, so students have a visual prompt about the type of partner reading they are expected to do. It's another simple way for me to support students who need a little more direction to get started during partner reading. So let's begin with Turtle Cheetah partners. I will use Turtle Cheetah as an instructional strategy when we begin reading a new word list or text. I will model each sound or syllable slowly, like a turtle. Then the students will echo back fluently, like a cheetah. Then we put the parts back together as a whole using the same Turtle Cheetah practice. During text reading, we change the language to robot human. I may read the sentence slowly like a robot, followed by the students echoing the sentence back like a fluent human. After, students will then use this strategy with their partners. One thing that is beautiful about this strategy is the weaker reader can take either role. They can take their time to sound out and blend when they are the turtle or the robot, or they get the model first when they are the cheetah or the human. Either role, they can be successful. This is an inclusive strategy to use at the beginning of a new fluency skill. Next, I begin using echo partners. I can echo a word, sentence, or part of a connected text, and students can chorally echo back as a class. Echo makes choral reading safer for students as they get to hear the model before they read as a group. Echo can be used throughout the week as an instructional tool when you want to target certain skills. I might use it to target a sentence with difficult syntax. During my model, I'll teach the meaning of the sentence and how the syntax demonstrates that meaning. Then we will reread it again with this better understanding. On another day, I might echo the same sentence in a variety of different ways, teaching students how we read with expression and intonation, and how this can change the meaning of the sentence. We can use echo reading as an instructional routine to target many different text reading and comprehension skills. Afterwards, the students can have echo partners. Sometimes I will have their partners color-coded so I can assign who is the lead reader. However, with practice, some partners are able to decide for themselves, or they just take turns being the echo reader. Here is an example of echo reading in my classroom. Notice at 22 seconds, the echo partner modeled the sounds when the partner got stuck on a word. At the end, both students used the expression that I modeled during our whole group practice.
Every morning, Irma would rush to the shoreline. Every morning, Irma would rush to the shoreline. When she was surfing, Irma would do flips and turns. When she was surfing, Irma would do flips and turns. She would twirl like a twister. She would twirl like a twister. All of the other animals were shocked. That girl turtle can surf so well. All of the other animals were were shocked that a girl turtle could surf so well.
Me or we is my favorite, and we use it often as a go-to. The first student asks their partner the question, me or we. If the student responds, me, they will read the line of text on their own, and their partner follows along with their finger. If they respond, we, then they read it together. Afterwards, the student repeats the question, switching roles each line. This method ensures both students are engaged and gives students control in an inclusive way so they can feel comfortable during partner reading. If they are a little hesitant about the text, they just say we and do it together. My students have always loved this type and will fall back on it when they get stuck. They love asking the question back and forth in a playful but purposeful way. Students always feel good about learning after we complete me or we partners. Lindsay Kemeny has a great how-to video you can use with your students to start this practice. Timed partners is a very effective way to do repeated reading and build motivation. However, it needs to be done in an inclusive way built on instruction and practice. It needs to be done in a way that sets students up for success and celebrates all levels of growth. Accuracy needs to be emphasized first. Do repeated review of this. Sometimes I model silly speed reading and then model how reading well is the goal. I have done it whole group with one timer on the panel. I have also done it where each pair has their own individual sand timer. You can set it up based on the needs of your students. In the beginning of the year, I do give students some choice in what they time themselves with. Some choose their weekly word list instead of the fluency text in the beginning. However, the goal is connected text. So as the students progress throughout the year, they all do shift towards connected text eventually. Each time the students get a little bit further in the text. They love seeing this growth, and they love celebrating with each other on these little wins during timed reading. In this example, we were completing our timed reading practice as a whole group. We had one timer for the entire class. This set of partners shows a great example of how students track and follow along with their partner and can provide feedback if needed. This student gives feedback with only a tap of her finger.
Irma the turtle loves to surf. Her mother, Shirley, was the first girl surfer in the turtle village, and Irma wanted to be just like her. Every morning, Irma would rush to the shoreline. That when she was surfing, Irma would do twists and surf, flips and turns.
Awesome. Great job, everybody. Okay, partner two, you ready for your second turn?
Yep.
Okay.
Go. Irma the turtle loves to surf. Her mother, Shirley, was the first girl surfer in the turtle village. And Irma wanted to be just like her. Every morning, Irma would rush to the shoreline. When she was surfing, Irma would do flips and turns. She would twirl like.
Awesome job. Okay, good job, everybody. You ready for your third and last round? Okay.
2, 1, go. Irma the turtle loves to surf. Her mother, Shirley, was the first girl surfer in the turtle village, and Irma wanted to be just like her. Every morning, Irma would rush to the shoreline. When she was surfing, Irma would do flips and turns. She would twirl like a twister. All the other animals were shocked that a girl turtle.
High fives. Now that we know more about why and what partner reading is, let's talk about how we put this into practice. In a perfect world, Research uses ability groups based on data. Often the class will be arranged in order from most fluent to least fluent, split in half, and then lining the two groups up side by side. This matching ensures partners are working with someone within their fluency range. However, we have these students for 10 months and do partner reading daily. We can't have them read with the same partners all year. We need partnering strategies that are inclusive, flexible, and purposeful. If I look ahead at my schedule and see that we have 2 weeks coming up with little disruptions, I will create database partners and target my instruction towards that. Sometimes I might create partners towards a specific skill. For example, I had one pair that was working on reading sentences with more fluent phrasing. I taught this group another strategy to practice with to target this. They would both read the sentence in their head and then put their thumb up when they got to the end. When both partners had their thumb up, then they would reread that sentence again out loud together with the phrasing. This pair was put together to target that skill, and I provided additional instruction and feedback to match that need. Sometimes I do social partners. All students need a chance to read together. It builds community. But often these partners are not the most effective. So I might choose to do these partners when I see a lot of disruptions coming up in our schedule, including PD days, sports days, or holidays. Sometimes I might put partners together to target a learning skill. One year, most of the class could do partner reading effectively, but I still had 4 students who came to the small group table and did partner reading with me. They needed additional practice opportunities with me to ensure they could do this effectively. It took a few extra weeks, but eventually they were able to do this on their own, just like the rest of the class. I make the decisions about partners and have a partner chart in my weekly planning slideshow. They keep that partner for 2 weeks and often use it for other subject areas as well to bring consistency to our day. I tried to update weekly, but it was just too much of my time. So I shifted to just updating it every other week. The students don't mind, and it saves me an additional weekly job. In a perfect world, you can have all kinds of fun seating. Students quickly float around the room, find a spot with ease, ensure all their peers found a fun spot too, and then sit productively to practice reading right away. In a real classroom, many students need structure and predictability to be successful with partner reading. This year, I have created partner locations around the room. They are not fancy. They are just assigned spots on the floor around the perimeter of the room. It ensures distance between sets of partners and takes away silly choices students might make trying to entertain their peers. I release partners slowly, intentionally picking certain students in the first half who may need a more structured transition than others. Then I will release the rest of the class once most of the spots are taken and there are only a few choices left. We want to ensure students do not experience cognitive overload from the procedure of partner reading and instead can put their cognitive energy towards fluent oral reading. As Anita Archer says, if you expect it, pre-correct it. Give your students structure so all students have the same predictable, consistent expectations so they can focus on practicing their reading fluency. In a perfect world, all students are practicing diligently 100% of the time, and they're just full of joy. Admin may even walk in and witness this perfection. In a real classroom, sometimes, but definitely not all the time. Students are humans. They get tired, have difficult days, make mistakes. We need to acknowledge these days are part of the learning process. Every day, we need to reflect on our purpose and behavior expectations. Sometimes students may need additional support for whatever reason that might be out of our and their control. Be patient and compassionate and plan next steps for a better day tomorrow. Celebrate all students throughout the year when they practice well. These little wins add up, and over time, there are more great days than not. To finish, I want to share these words from Timothy Shanahan. Research-based approaches don't work. They are made to work. They are made to work by teachers like you and me, and all the things teachers do every day to increase the success of our students. Partner reading is an evidence-informed instructional practice, but it can only be made effective by the intentional instructional decisions made by thoughtful educators like you. These are just some ideas and options about partner reading. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me or anyone on our ONlit team if you have questions or feedback on how you implement partner reading in your classroom. Thank you for taking your time to join me on Partner Reading, Making It Effective.